The waiters come to Uganda.
How did it work out for you?
Well, you guys.
You did?
Yeah.
Ulipelekana movie alafu?
Movie, you guys, to the beach, you guys, during the day.
Yeah.
You guys to the park before it's dark, you guys. That's why those mummies, ndio wanaenda wanakomongwa, but wanarudi. You guys, man, that's polite, you guys. Me, I should, the youth should listen to me.
Yeah. No, you're a very wise man, and obviously you're Ank. Just lazima tukusikilize.
Yeah, man. So you
guys, umetoka level ya big bro, when you Ank. And ufike miaka umefika kwa maisha. There's definitely some experiences you've gone through that we have to listen to you.
You guys, by the grace of God. Yeah, man. So you guys,
lazima tukusikilize you guys. So unasema tupelekane dates.
Yeah.
Movies. So what are we doing wrong as young men that you reckon?
I feel like commongarization has really been overhyped. I feel like knowing someone is better than dashing to straight commongarization. Know somebody, you guys, for long. Like 1 year hivi. Kuongea tu guys, story nini. Jua temperament ya mtu nini. Alafu sasa ndio unaweza jua kama utamchukua kama lawfully beloved wife, you guys. See it, let's meet on Friday at 10:30 p.m. You guys, that is a very bad strategy. If you're doing that, please change. Huh?
So you've never done that?
No, to be honest,
you've always been a guy of knowing.
I don't want to become a Pharisee and start lying here that I've never done that. I have. But I changed my ways, you guys.
Yeah.
Repent means changing of ways. I repented, you guys. Yeah, man. I changed direction.
Yeah. So your generation never had any casual sexual
encounters? They did. And many people made many mistakes because of doing that. You know, and I'm not talking about the children. I'm just talking about sometimes hooking up with someone who maybe wasn't your person, but maybe you thought because of the way they anakufanya body yako ichemke. Lakini that is a very small part of relations, human relations, especially I'm talking about relationships. That coitus part is a very small part. Kuna hii a very, very big part of commitment, going through hard times together. I'd say here that some of my very close family members, some of them wanapitia very rough times in terms of health nini. Including myself, sijui niko na maumivu kwa joints. So life goes full circle, and then saa zingine some of these bodily things you thought were so important, they become not so important, and you just want to survive, you guys, another day, you guys. So you need someone who's with you through thick and thin, as my friend Kevo says. Ndio anatoka pale dhika. So hizi sema bila kusema the.
So how long should someone wait before they engage?
Okay, I don't know. It depends also on someone's level of maturity.
How long does it take to know someone?
I don't think you can ever know someone.
I mean, there have been formulas in the past. You know, the ladies have this famous 90-day rule.
Achana na hizo story. You guys, let me tell you, you can't you can't really truly know someone, but you should have someone who has certain qualities. Quality number one, and I was saying this to my friend Beryl, and akachoka sana na mimi. You have to look for someone who is agreeable.
What does that mean?
It means it's not contentious.
Someone who agrees with everything.
No. Agreeable. All right. You see, me and you over here, we have agreeableness between each other. All right. Lakini unaweza kuwa na work colleague mwenye amwezi agree. Kama ni north, kama mwingine ni south. That is not the way to.
Is that person allowed to have their own opinions and make their own decisions?
I'm not saying a robot. I'm not going to say go and look for a robot. I've said
not a yes,
look for someone.
A yes woman.
No, I've not said a yes woman. I've just said someone who you guys can agree to disagree without it being a fight. You know, sometimes you can take the high road and just allow something to happen which won't obviously murder you or lead you into a ditch, just for peace, you guys. Yeah. And I was saying do stupid things. You have to get me very clearly. I'm not talking about doing stupid things, but you have to have someone who's not unajua contentious. Contentious ni mtu anapenda kuargue. Able look for that word contentious.
Let me Google two things. Agreeable kwanza. Because I feel maybe you're using it very freely.
I also Google the word contentious individual, you guys. Mtu mwenye anapenda kuargue, you guys, there is no Ukisema mimi naenda tao, cheki kufanya nini? Unaenda kutafuta mademu wako mwenye uko nao tao. Cheki.
Ulijuaje? Agreeable is an adjective describing someone who is pleasant, friendly and willing to consent or something that is willing to consent. Agreeable, that is pleasant, friendly and willing to consent. Contentious, ndio?
Angalia contentious ni nini? Andika hapo mtu contentious.
Contentious person.
Yes, contentious person, you guy. Msikilizaji, we are about to go down this road. Twende kazi.
Someone with a persistent, often perverse fondness for arguing, quarreling and causing disputes.
I'm telling you that you guys, if you take
so
this,
maybe
hii show tunafaa kuifunga twende.
Maybe what you're saying is because I don't think they are opposites of each other in a sense. Maybe maybe what you're saying is you should not get someone agreeable, but you should get someone who's not contentious.
No.
I feel like there's a middle ground between agreeable and contentious.
No, it depends.
So you should get a middle
synonym
ground
you're using. So umesema
they're not two sides of the
pleasant.
same.
So umesema pleasant.
Yeah.
You want a pleasant person around you?
I want a pleasant person, but someone
so
also who has their own thoughts.
Yes,
and has
I agree.
So all I'm saying is, going forward, don't say that you want an agreeable person. Say you want someone who's not contentious. That is what you should say. Say you want someone who's not contentious.
No. Me personally, mimi kama man.
Why do you want an agreeable person?
Because I want my home to be pleasant and peaceful.
But like arguments and nini, because you are two different people with two different ideas and worldviews. Like you should be able to have, and I agree with you, healthy sort of, I don't even want to call them arguments. It's just basically exchange of ideas.
Yeah, true. And
like you're allowed to disagree and still have a conversation.
It's fun to have someone like that, right?
Yeah.
Not just someone agree.
But that doesn't mean that person is agreeable.
Me, I'm talking about that. So maybe
you should say you want a pleasant person.
No, I want an agreeable.
Like this person. Is an agreeable person.
How do you know you guys? Umekaa naye for long?
Because nikaona picha yake.
You guys, let me tell you, you see like this career of ours, especially when you're young in your career. Sasa zingine utaamka upigiwe simu. Kaa jana nimeambiwa message fulani ya November. Kuna gig fulani nimepewa in November.
Congrats.
Nacheki. Na nimebambika sana.
Germans wanakuja November.
Germans gani?
Si Africa Forward.
Africa Summit.
After you've sold out to the French for that suit.
This is
ngapi you guys you can sell out the African continent.
No. Me am a
hiyo koti. Mbona hiyo koti inaonekana immediately African?
Si nimekwambia pe nilitoa hiyo koti. I can trace my wealth. I can give you all account of nimevizing nguo zangu zote. You get bana. So I'm saying you a gig tokers unaambiwa Bashir kesho unafaa kuonekana Africa Summit. Umeamua sasa unaona umeamua ku sell out sasa. So umeambiwa kesho uende.
For example.
Alafu wewe saa wewe ni sell out. So unaenda unacheki. Sasa wamesema they are giving maybe tomorrow you had planned to go somewhere with your significant other. All right? So leo jioni unamwambia, "Hey babe, mazee kesho can you imagine I've gone on a gig pale Africa Summit. I'm going to perform. I'm going to be emceeing kina Yusondor and those other guys." What kind of reaction do you want?
I expect them to be happy for me first of all.
Remember, you're supposed to go with her somewhere, kesho. Maybe even to Arusha on a family road trip. Alafu sasa umepata hii
gig ambayo inalipa.
Yeah.
So first of all, since I'm not a sellout, tutaenda tu Arusha.
You guys, you're a funny person, you guys. Second of all,
I knew.
You guys, you're a punk of the highest degree, you guys. So you see, unataka mtu mwenye atasema, all right, yes, I was stoked about going to nini. Stoked ni word ya boy wetu dog. I was stoked to be going to Arusha.
But koti ko sawa, mbona unaini?
No, hivi ndio watu
koti ya Ramu haifungiki vizuri. Koti ya kusema.
Ndio akina Obama na hizi makoti. You keep funga and funga.
Mbona you guy?
It's a style. Ni swag.
Tangu tuanze hii interview guy unafunga ukifungua hiyo koti.
It depends on the points that
ukisell out hata vitu unanunua nayo na hiyo pesa.
No, uzuri to just sell out. So you need someone who will say, hey, by the way, I was looking forward to the trip, but what do we need to get tomorrow going? And then how do we reschedule this trip? You don't want someone who will be on your neck. No, you never even come for our things. Now you have postponed our things just to do your things. Well, we just focused on your things and not my things. Now me at Panga, like this, I'd already worked with Jobo. And then Jobo had said that they've given me time. And then now you are ruining my time. And then now we have to go for your things. Why is it always you? Take it. That is what I'm talking about.
So at what point do you discover someone is like that? Because I'm like,
I think in the first 20 seconds.
I'm like, initially, do they present that side of themselves? Because the problem with the dating game is it's still a game. Like everyone gets out of their house, cleans up very well, wears their best knee. If like you're out there to basically go and get a partner, ama you're trying to impress someone, you're putting your best foot forward, So then that applies to everything, even your character. Like on that day, if you're going for a date, for example, mazee umetokea, like the way you present yourself on that date, I truly believe it's going to be very hard for you to maintain that level every other day.
No.
So nasema like on the first day, maybe the chick that you're talking about
or
is
the dude
is pleasant, as you said. They're not presenting that side of themselves. So at what point do you start seeing signs that maybe nimeingizwa?
Si sasa over time. That's why nilikuwa nakwambia kabla wanza.
So for you at what point ulianza ku notice those
what do you mean by
discrepancies? For you, no, your impression ni too accurate.
What do you mean by for you?
Like at what point do you sinauliza wewe
now somebody
as what is your answer? Nasema for you, for example, where do you start
just
mbona unakuwa defensive?
No, cause umesema for you, so nikajiuliza
no, for you like we jibu as Emmanuel.
For me as Emmanuel, the few times I've seen ni tukiwa pale on in these social spaces, it's my red flag always is the feature for long, as you're saying. So you go out, you have dinner, you just check how they're treating the waitress, how they're treating, the cab guy. All right. If there are people who are driving, your road rage when you want to treat fellow drivers on the road. Like the red flags always pop up one way or another. How they address people during stressful times. Labda uko na yeye alafu upate pancha. You get what I'm saying? When you ataanza kureact hapo. So I think now that's the essence of what they call dating. Like it's checking out what this other person is about. Because initially, even as dudes, you try and behave like you're Prince Charming. Lakini eventually ukikaa na mtu long enough, I think you'll begin to see.
I think utakuwa exposed, obviously there'll be cracks. And that's why like when wanasema like when your go to new strategy is to impress chicks with money, if you don't have that money, it will because there's something called a recruitment budget. And chicks bring this up on various occasions. Like when he was trying to basically get me to become his girlfriend, he was this type of person. He was taking me to nice restaurants. He was taking me to movies. We were going to vacations. He was spending all this money on me. But now that I'm his girlfriend, he stopped doing all those things. And that is what we call a recruitment budget. So the recruitment budget has done its work. And after the recruitment budget, now you go back to living to the level that the man used to live. Now that he has you. So he can't maintain.
Ulipiga recruitment budget?
Mi ndo nimeanza kazi juzi. Bado sina recruitment budget.
But so kuna dem?
Yeah.
How did you acquire this money, you guys? What methodology did you use to get a chick bila kazi?
I think Sagodi aliniomba.
I think you're about to you're about to make history, you guys, for the brothers who are watching. Checking the brothers watching wakingoja kusikia cheki. Yeah. Ni possible. So how did you get a mami bila kazi?
Maombi ya mama yangu, you guys. I don't even know.
Yeah, she fasted and prayed.
Yeah, aliniombea sana nipate mtu. But I can't even explain it because I didn't have anything.
Sasa alikupata vile ulivyo.
Cheki
vile nilivyo. Vile nilivyo. You guys, that is amazing.
But I think aliona potential. Mademo anakuanga na hiyo kitu.
No,
they can spot potential.
Kuna dem flani alisema uende potentiate huko. Yeah.
Kwa nini guy? See a potentiate aone yenyewe this guy is doing something with his life.
I was trying to convince
maybe saizi vitu hazionekani but he's actively trying to build something. Because I think the problem now is as a man when you're running this race, a financial race, And that's why all the celebrities and wealthy men always struggle with this. It's like dating after you've made money, because you don't really know why that person likes you, because you have achieved. So we have this idea of ladies who wait at the finish line. So they don't want to escort you throughout the race. They just wait hapo.
That's what nilikuwa najaribu kumwambia huyo dem best yetu fulani, lakini ni kama
so anangoja kwa finish line. Hataki kuescort mtu yote through the ups and downs.
Anasema ako fiti. Bana. So wewe enda ufanye kazi kwa bidii.
Atakuombea.
Ukifika huko utampata kungojea hapo kwa finish line. Atakuhug. Shaona makocha wanakungojea hapo kwa finish line. Alafu wanakuhug because they know they're gonna get a percentage of the dollar bills you guys.
Yeah.
Kuna mmoja alingojea sawa hapo kama hug yake yote you guys bana. So hivyo ndio atakuhug. Alafu sasa ataingia kwako. Because the government will have hit you with 8 million Kenyan shillings without any taxes.
On the flip side, there's the other knee of ladies say, oh, I was with this guy when he was broke, and now that he's made his money, amepata type yake. And I made a joke about wife changing money. There's the other side where you can decide to stick with this guy. You know, ile tulianza mazee kwa bed sitter pale paipu. Ndio mbona paipu imekuwa ni poster child ya kuteseka, but tumelala kwa floor. Mazee akaanza biz, nilikuwa namsupport nini.
I think ni venye hizo building is a natural light. I think you've never seen the sun in a while unateseka you guy.
And then now that amepata pesa, akanichuja you guy akaendea madem wengine. So there's the other side. Like you sticking with someone through thick and thin does not guarantee the longevity of the relationship.
No, I think we should be more loyal as bros. Maybe don't chuja your first
day one.
Ametoka na wewe kwa
maybe uongeze tu mwingine. Like don't chuja.
Nitaka kusema hivyo but nipo wendi umesema. Jegi no, but why not just
even kitambo see those that need of bibi mkubwa. For example, just in the traditional
in the
sense.
olden days.
And then bibi mkubwa
in the good old days.
Yeye ndo generally ungeangalia in the timeline, yeye ndo alipitia mashida na mzee. Then wakati mzee amepata uwezo ameongeza mabibi, lakini bibi mkubwa anapewa heshima yake.
True, cause yeye ndio bibi mkubwa.
Hao wengine ni
she's like the matriarch of the family. Alafu sasa you don't have nguvu ya kumassage. Sasa the new bibi mdogo ana come through na hiyo nguvu ya youthfulness ya kumpiga back massage you guy back to back without stopping you guy. I think you're on to something there. I don't know what the ladies have to say about that though.
No, I'm just bringing up instances of this application that it has happened in the past. I'm not advocating for anything. I'm just saying.
But what about bros just chill solo, build something and then now get a mommy? What's up with this tujenge pamoja stuff? You're even more effective solo. You're nimble, your movements.
Why do you? But also,
like you're effective in life and your career. Like unaona kama mimi naweza toka hapa as I will do and go and continue working right now. Unaona wewe huwezi fanya hivyo. Especially kama demo wako kwa keja. Demo wako around.
Yeah, okay.
Unaona sasa wewe uko na majukumu zinakungojea za ki relationship here. You get what I'm saying?
No.
No, you have
expound
things. So you have to go, you talk. She tells you how your day was, and then maybe she's undad for you, mapocho, and then you guys eat, and then at kabla mlale, you have to perform the natural obligations.
Prayer.
Alafu sasa ukimaliza ulale. Alafu you see now your night will be short because lazima uamke mapema tena kuperform natural obligations. Unaona? So unaona ume lose 1 hour hapa chini usiku. When mso night ama morning?
I think zote.
When mnoma When mnoma at what hour?
Sijafanya analytics bado.
1 hour 30. So 1 hour game analysis. 1 hour 30 minutes zimeenda zako zote.
But
and I haven't even calculated those other things.
But sipiki na sioshi. Nikiingia kwa nyumba napata nyumba imeoshwa na
you see you're wasting time ukipika.
Unasema mimi sipiki.
Wewe upiki. Okay.
So hiyo 1 hour 30 minutes nimesave
because no 1 hour 30 minutes is the natural obligations.
Unasema I have nimeipata from me not cooking and cleaning.
Okay.
But wewe utaenda upike.
Sinapike za ngapi?
Uoshe nyumba.
Mimi sinapitia hapo Nairobi
and then still perform natural obligations on yourself.
Unaona sasa
1 hour 30 minutes imeenda na bado umepika na umenini.
On yourself you guy bana. What an show On yourself in 10 minutes you guy ushalala tena. So check you guy. So naona mimi na wewe, me am very nimble you guy. Wewe you guy you're burdened you guy with which is it has its benefits, but in terms of kazi unaona sasa mimi nitatoka hapa niende nikule a very quick meal pale Nairobi West boy joint flani
rice
boy flani anaitwa Solo.
Damn. Cheki cabbage ama sukuma daily. Damn. Cheki no minji na beans.
Check you guy. So you guy after perpetuating that rice whatever beans mimi naenda kuendelea na kazi bra. Kuna videos fulani naenda kuedit nini. So earliest mimi naingia kitana ni saa 8 saa 9 huko. You guy productivity back to back. And then I go to sleep, there's no one telling me, but how come you're not coming to bed? What's wrong with you? Like, I don't know. Mimi naenda tunalala 6 you guy. I'm up. Okay, I'm lying. 7. I'm up at 7, naenda for a walk, and then napitia pale Waideras, natanika mayai, chapati na chai. Alafu narudi wapi? Kazi my guy. Guy bana. But I'm not saying you should choose your chick. I'm just saying maybe guys before they get mummies, they work.
So you work
jenga your life. Yeah. Jenga your life to a certain threshold. And then now ingiza mami.
So you're saying it's easier just to live alone?
It's easier.
Like there's nothing that a mummy adds in your life?
No, I've not said that. You're the one saying that right now.
No,
you're trying to trick me into agreeing to a crazy statement.
See, that's what you've said. You said it's easier to...
I've not said that.
You said it's easier to move alone. So it means that the mummy does not add anything to your life?
No, she adds.
So the mummy is not making your life...
warmth.
Is she making your life harder?
A good mummy would make your life really cool. In terms of the social aspect of life. All right. Unaona kama wewe natural obligation. That's why we relax hivi, because when you perform of natural obligation.
As opposed to being what? This is just my general
demeanor. Si tense up mwenye haja nini? So no,
it's 8:35 at night. Why am I tensed up?
No, I'm saying if that's some of the things you enjoy.
Yeah.
I accompany. At least kuna stress, so you can cry on.
So those are the sacrifices.
You normally cry on her laps, okay? Got stress.
Those are the sacrifices. Those are the sacrifices that you're making by being alone as a man, sindio?
No. Nimesema those are the joys you have when you have a man.
Nasema, and that is the sacrifice.
Oh, the flip side.
Yeah, that is the sacrifice you make by being alone.
Yes. For a season.
So maybe you should wait
for a season.
You should wait and see maybe if it makes sense. But also,
I think so, yeah.
Kuna kwanga na hiyo ni once you get married, mazee Mungu anafungua mambo yako you get. I don't know if you've heard that. I used to work for my uncle. My uncle used to be a contractor and used to get a lot of tenders to the point where he used to give people tenders. Ukitaka tu anakupea. But one of the rules ilikuwa ni lazima ukuwe na familia. Because me, I asked him, I'm like, yo, uncle, you guy, mimi si uniorganizie katenda hata mimi nipige supplies wantu wakaniambia wewe wa kwanza alafu tuongee. And true to his word. Yeah, true to his, like anyone who had obligations angekupea job. Because he was like, wewe utaharibu pesa, hauna majukumu. And on the flip side, no, I don't agree with it 100%, but I just feel like once you are in that situation where you have obligations, you have to ease, you have, obligations that you have to cater to, it seems that things start working out. Either that, or your mindset shifts, that now you start putting in work. I don't have the statistics. I'm not saying that married couples are more financially successful than their single counterparts, but maybe to explain that phenomena, it's that when your mindset shifts to like now I have responsibilities, maybe you tend to work harder. And we had that someone was telling us, who was it telling us that when they were looking for a job and like they preferred someone who had a wife.
Oh yeah, I don't remember who it was, but I remember that conversation. But yeah, no, you're right. I think when you're married or maybe in a relationship with someone serious, there's some things which you'll do which you normally wouldn't do. And I think I've given this example many times. Like Miss Jai buy fridge ingine. And I don't think si ati nimekosa pesa ya kununua ile fridge. ni tu venye hiyo pesa naona heri niende tu hapo kwa solo nipe pesa instead of storing things in my house. So remember you guys used to come to my digs na fridge ilikuwa imejaa.
You guy, let me tell you, life was so good. Yeah? That was the first time niliona fridge iko na 7 different types of meats.
Yeah, bana. You guys
kuku, beef, turkey, kidneys, liver. You guy leftovers hapo. You guy, your fridge nilikuwa nafungua. It was a heavenly.
You guy juice, you guy. It was, and then if you don't buy those things, the house would get a bit uncomfortable. Because unaambiwa bana, mi lazima nikule hizi vitu kama kuna protein kwa nyumba bana, things are not working out. So I don't know where the money used to come from, but I used to get it. The money for jars in the fridge, the money
freezer, you guy meja.
Yeah, bana, like
mincemeat.
You basically start thinking ahead.
Also book.
Yeah, maze. But if you're solo,
utapuuza
unless you're very disciplined. I think kuna vitu unaweza pata umepuuza.
Let me try to cook na mtaniambia kama hii haiwezi. A good example is when I compare myself to friends of mine who went to all boys high school especially. When we met in campus, they were a bit off kiasi. Because mi nilizoea kukaa na hiyo environment, like there are chicks around, so there's a way you have to conduct yourself. So basically hygiene wise, there's just some behaviors that we call, like when you're around chicks, you sort of have to be a certain person.
Oh, you have to be clean.
But kama you guy from term to term, it's just men. Like when you see just boys high school, it's just horrible.
Yeah.
Because there's no incentive for you to be clean. There's no there's no one to impress. There's no one to be better for.
It's rough.
Just other men.
Yeah.
So when we met in campus, they were a bit rough kiasi. You could just tell that mse hajakana madem. Yeah, even their approach with chicks, it was very off. I'm like, you act like you've been here before.
Kuna boy yangu mazena, there was a time tuliishi na kiasi, alikuwa anapitia mtaro fulani. So tukaishi naye for about a month or two. You get that guy alikuwa akitoa longi hapo kwa sitting room. Anaiacha hapo. Unaona hapo kwa corridor as you're heading to the room. So akitoa hivi na masocks, anatoa anatupa hapo, anatoa shati anatupa hapo, anabaki na box anarukia kitanda. So I'm like, you guy, you need. So I actually used to tell him that. I used to tell him, you guy, I think you need to live with a chick.
Yeah.
Because you guy, you're rough. You get that guy was, hey, Mrs. Ishinomse. You get that guy could not, chicks, they'll tell you, hey, but what are you doing? Why are you throwing your socks in the corridor? Like, what's up with you? Unless you're one of those very clean guys. I remember me when I was married them days, nilikuwa naulizwa mbona naacha tea bag kwa, I used to leave the tea bag in the cup. So it really used to irritate that mommy. So I'm like, so nikalan kutoa tea bag. My mom definitely, she taught me to clear my table after eating. Nachukua vitu zako nazipeleka hapo. There's some guys who just chill there with their dishes over there after wamemaliza kudish.
Yeah.
So that really irritates me nowadays. So I'm like, wait, bana, si umemaliza kudish. So I became this guy's dad. But I remember the thing I kept saying is what you're saying. That's one of, kama ungekuwa na dem, I don't think we're gonna be.
There are certain things. There's a time you guy, I think our mom alikuwa ameenda watches. You alikuwa amekosana. So we stayed with our dad for like a week.
And things were thick.
You guy, chips, breakfast. Chips, lunch, chips. You guy, hiyo keja ilikuwa imeturn into a zoo. You guy, there's no one to clean the toilet. You guy, budangu alikuwa anatoka tu town chipo.
But nowadays I'm proud of a man being able to take care of himself.
Yeah. And I feel like that is just a must to, like, just as a human being, there are certain abilities you need to have.
Yeah, because I feel like in this modern day and era, unajua mademu wamesema they're not there for unpaid care work. So zingine kuna hiyo story, we're not gonna come to cook and clean for you. So you guys, you should sort yourself out, bra, you guys.
Hauna impression ingine ya man.
I think huyu particular dem alinikera sana. Tapiga impression yake
why do all the chicks sound the same too?
Nitapiga impression yake for the foreseeable future, you guys. So I think a dude should be able to sort themselves out.
Yeah.
If at all they're living alone, and they need help, you can hire help.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? You shouldn't sit down waiting for someone to sort you out. Then you should have a clean digs. It's also nice to have a clean digs, bra, you guys. Huh?
Yeah.
Okay, you wake up,
100%.
make your bed, make sure you have a clothes hamper where you throw your dirty clothes. Get someone, if you're not very good at washing clothes, I don't think that's a gift or something. You get someone to wash your clothes. Like you wash I used to call you many times. No, kitambo ulikuwa unaosha nguo zako, sio?
Yeah.
Chikileo nataka leo stoki nje naosha nguo.
Because mimi sikuwa najua unaweza lipia laundry or something like that.
But maybe also you didn't have the cash at the time.
Yeah. And then nilikuwa nishazoea tu hivyo. Hivyo ndo unafua nguo zako unazianika alafu unazianua kesho.
I think guys shouldn't wait for someone to come and save their living situation. Sort yourself out first as you.
And also right now you guys,
although there's a friend of mine anasemanga ni mbadala kama we ni msafi sana. Do you think that?
Like as a dude,
you're a scarfist.
There's a level of being clean that you become sus.
To my pal Kiev. Check you guy, man. A guy can't be clean like that. Take me, what are you talking about? Cleanliness is basic.
It's next to godliness.
Sasa kukua msafi sasa imekuwa scarf.
Do you think Oraimo is taking up most of these gender roles? Maybe this is not a discussion we need to have.
Why?
Dishwasher.
Kwani kuna dishwasher ya Oraimo?
Watu wenye wako na nini Crocs. You underestimate the need. But most of those things have been taken up by technology. Like you no longer need someone to wash your clothes. You no longer need someone to wash your dishes. Like a lot of these things have been made easy. Even like cooking and nini kitambo atikuni ama nini. It's like just air fryer, oven. Like it's way simpler.
You guys, if a mommy comes to your house okay, theoretically speaking, because you're a man in a very happy relationship, if theoretically a mommy comes to your digs, how long before you would start let her doing chores in your digs?
I let her.
Yeah. Not make her, but let her.
Ile nye anaenda kuosha vyombo alafu namkataza. What do you mean let her? As opposed to not letting her do the chores.
Yeah, you tell her, easy. So you clear the plates, peleka to the kitchen, wash them, go back, panguza the table, nini.
Honestly, up to now, I never knew that was an option.
In what regard?
Sikana nataka kuosha ataosha. Mbona nimkataze?
No, nasema. Oh, so uta
up to now, up to this exact moment, I never knew that. Siendo ameamua nataka kuosha vyombo. Sasa mbona nimkataze?
So day one ako kwa kitchen anaosha vyombo.
No, that's okay. Some level of urgency.
Hautaki
ni mtu mazee, we can fight fires together, you guys. Ride or die and wash dishes.
You guys, hautaki umpatia time kiasi kabla uanze kuacha you're a modern man.
There are certain things yenyewe I'll be like obviously easy because ajui
kama kuosha carpet.
Ajui penye broom imewekwa.
But you guys you're an interesting dude, you guys. So day one ako hapo anapanguza, anapiga deki.
Si anaoshanga yake. Kwani is she doing something that she does not know how to do? The difference is the location, same job.
No, you're still a visitor.
Okay, sijaifikiria hivyo.
So anakama anaanza kukanda unga ya chapati.
What I'll do is I won't ask her to do any of those things, but if inatoka kwa roho yake, I won't stop her.
Oh, okay. You'll gauge the moment.
Yeah, because maybe she's auditioning.
Bagidi kwako ni military.
Military ni place unaingia na ushaambiwa oshe vyombo. Mimi simwambie oshe vyombo.
Lakini hiyo ni courtesy. Anajifanya bra you guys.
So nafani mkataze.
Yeah, bana, you're still just
Nikave venye ukienda kwa jirani akuambie kama utakula unafaa ukatae mara ya kwanza.
Exactly, you guys.
And then mara ya pili ndo unakubali.
Hapana, sijasema hivyo you guys. I've just said.
No, hiyo ni like there are some of these.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they are like social contracts. They are like unwritten rules.
Yeah.
Like when you go to visit your friend and then they offer you food. Ufai kukua ati yes nitakula. Mara ya kwanza kata. And then aki-insist uko like okay, if you insist mom nitakula.
Comment section mazee mtuambie hiyo situation nyinyi mnafikiriaje. Let's shout out a few guys here. First of all, our special guest is still on the way. I think Jam ndio imemshika. Unajua ni jamaa mmoja very respectable. Akisema ndivyo.
Sivyo.
akisema ndivyo. So I think just traffic, and he's going to be here shortly to have our conversation together. But meanwhile, Bashir and I tunapiga gumzo hapa yake yote, na Bashir anasema ukiingia kwake na if you feel kama uko na desire ya kupalilia shamba, haizi kuambia ustop. Wewe utachukua jembe na uingie uptandike hizo 3 acres. But meanwhile, let me say hi to a couple of guys. Tony is in the building, anasema tuko yard. Shout out to you, Tony. Walking mild anasema kwani guest ametupiga ile kitu tena. Manu looking sharp. Let me tell you, Walking mild, to see why I give up, my brother. Nahum Groot is saying inside. George Raphael is also in the building, anasema dope show kama kawa, hashtag wind down. George Wafula umepotea kiasi, anasema cheki Manu trying to impress the new intern. Na Bash with the new tapa fade. Guys, watu wamekusoma sana bwana Bash. Hugo Rants is back, sijamwona in a while. Anasema cheki Bash not understanding agreeable, you can agree to disagree. No, Hugo Rants anasimama na mimi na hiyo point.
Pia Google AI overview aielewi agreeable basi.
You guy Hugo Rants anasema agreeable then exactly mean you agree to everything. Naona hii haikufika kipani. Huyu jamaa nikana kupiga manini maroast hapa hivi hapa na pale. Anakujaribu jamaa ajue wewe ni nani bad guy. Anafaa kujua wewe ni verified roaster na utamrudia yake yote, but that's his opinion anyway. Rosemary anasema nimeona Basha chic. Hey, you guys on the ropes hapo kwa comments. Kim MD is in the building, anasema tuko ndani. Shout out to Kim MD. Kim MD, I'm still waiting for your feedback on your place ingine. Kuna story fulani ulisema kuna misinformation na nikakwambia maze share maze so we all learn. Tony anasema if you're on a constant grind, a relationship will slow you down unless you get a partner that is agreeable with your vision and has the same level of grind. Alafu munatafuta time yenyu pamoja. Yes, I agree with you, Tony. Kijiji Sports anasema cleanliness is second to godliness, they say. Jacob ako hapa leo, mazi Jacob umelost bra. Anasema imebidi nizime taa hapa home ni vile hiyo blazer ya Manu inang'aa. Get maliza guys this blazer. Aya, Melissa is the building, at least there's a mommy in the building. Anasema, the boys are looking good. Bashir in, as we are waiting for our guest, and I know you are talking about other things, but hii maneno ya Africa Forward Summit, what are your true thoughts? Without feeling judged or being observed, okay, safely though, because we're on radio, but imagine we are not on radio and you wanted to give a safe take. Safe but honest take about this summit. What do you think? Do you think the French, you guys, are here to take advantage of us as they did to many, many other countries, especially in West Africa? Do you think they are here because of ill will? Like some of the bad things they did, kama vile, ngoja kidogo, niku...
Showing that's ni quote of you. But every time unavaa hiyo tie ya black guest anaingia kwa mtaa.
Yeah, it seems to be a trend, you guys.
Hata kuvaa tie.
So nakumbuka ile siku nilivaa tu t-shirts, guest alikam.
Bana.
I don't know, I think there's something about this
Do you believe in those superstitions? You know you're a Lunje man, you guys.
Sometimes they happen, paka I begin to think about them.
What are some of the superstitions that you're going to stick with? I feel like even athletes, musicians, everyone has like a ritual basically. What is your one superstition in mpaka saizi you guys you still believe in?
I can't kumonga you guys in the morenga.
Why?
Italeta swara kwa morenga.
I've heard that before.
Utaanza kupata maflat tire, engine itanok. Utaanza kugonga dogi random kwa barabara. So also like even workplace, like kumongeng in your workplace is italeta swara kwa your workplace. Like say if you have a shop, unaanza kumonga hapo kwa shop, you get utabaki na hizo
your stock.
Bana. Hizo ma KDF maze utabaki nazo for years you guys. Kama unasikiza na unafanya hizo vitu kwa nini? Kwa shop yako please.
Okay, maliza alafu usifanye next time.
You guys, let me read for you a few things. I did some quick search about some of the what are the top accusations against the French state. Okay?
Is this alleged?
No. These are
a fact of history.
Yeah, these are historical things that
transpired.
People have reported. Yes. So the conquest and colonization of huge parts of Africa. All right, the French were major colonizers. they used to use a system called assimilation, okay, where they'd say you are also French, but I think it got to some mind game. So there's Algeria, Senegal, Mali, Niger, Chad, Cameroon, Madagascar, and others. They obviously were invaded militarily. Their land was seized, forced labor, taxes. Okay, you could argue that hii ni maneno ya kitambo. Another kitu ya kitambo yenye happened involving the French is called the Sétif Massacre of 1945. The Algerians were demanding for freedom, and they were met by brutal repression by French authorities in what became the Sétif and Guelma massacres. All right? Torture and mass killings during the Algerian War. Suppression of independence movements in Cameroon. Okay, we could argue ni maneno ya kitambo, but they still did it. The Madagascar uprising crackdown. Something modern that's happening now. The CFA franc system and economic dependency. All right, 14 African countries historically used CFA franc system tied to France. So critics argue that it limited monetary sovereignty, tied reserves to the French treasury, preserved post-colonial influence. These guys are still fighting against that till today. Supporting authoritarian regimes after independence, you guy. Mse anatolewa anaeka dictator mwingine, allegedly caused by the, supported by the French. Repeated military interventions, I'm almost done. Repeated military interventions in former colonies from Chad to Mali to Niger. France repeatedly deployed troops after independence. Accusations around Rwanda genocide period. France's role before and during the Rwandan genocide remains controversial. Critics accuse the French institutions of supporting the regime that later carried out the genocide. All right? And then, this one is, neither here nor there, but it's important to many people. I'm talking about cultural looting. Alafu kuna history yenye nimepiga hapa before ya Haiti. They fought for independence and the French made them pay them back.
They charged them, yeah.
Yeah, bana. So, are these guys you want to deal with, you guy, in 2026, my guy?
No, I feel like this whole thing of Africa Forward and all this, like there's no free lunch. That's the way I look at it, because there is heavy investment in this particular summit, and I mean like the pledge from Macron, 23 billion euros. That is not a cheap change. But also I'm like just strictly as a businessman, you get that 23 billion lazima itarudi in some way, form or manner.
And then it's not like they're depositing the money in your account, in Kenya account.
It's a pledge. I don't know how it trickle down to the common African.
The Europeans are very meticulous when it comes to money. They don't just give it to you directly. Maybe you need some paperwork yako yote kabla ikufikie you.
But also it's like has foreign aid really helped Africa? Or has it made it worse? Well, look at it like after World War II, I think so. Like when they were trying to like rebuild the world, like obviously there was a lot of funds that were sent to like these European countries, in which they used it to build industries and nini. But on the flip side, why hasn't that format worked for Africa? Because post-colonialization, like we got all this money from in the world basically, but like did it make Africa better or worse?
I think there are areas
like all these foreign aids and sijui nini. A good example is when we had the Nico Kadi guy, and he was telling us how Kibera has over 250 charities,
and
basically.
It's still the same place,
and
right?
it has not changed at all. It's like is all this foreign aid helping or making it worse?
First of all, unasema to aid, it's okay. Alafu secondly, you guy, I think maybe, and I think the Trump administration was trying to deal with that. That was the idea behind the USAID saga, where they were saying most of this money they're throwing at Africa is not working. I personally, I think the way they distribute the money is the problem. All right, so somebody comes here, starts up an NGO, right? Calls it Kitengela People's. Kitengela Young People's Aid. You get what I'm saying? Then you register it, get all the documents, get a contact in the States or one of these funding agencies. Then you get the money. Somehow, this person, the head of Kitengela Young, I hope there's no organization which is called
I think kuna mtu anaandika chini. Hebu iseme vizuri pole pole.
So no I'm saying tuseme ni mimi. You guys, you're saying me, my life is really going up, because I've allocated myself some very fat silos. Alafu a very small percentage of the money doing a trickle down. All right, maybe 10% of the principal or something of the sort. The guys in the comments can give us the specifics, if at all you know. So I think that is the problem with the aid system here. It's yes, there's aid which does good. You remember there's this aid for guys who had, if you need ARVs.
Yeah.
See, they've been supported by aid for a very long time. And I think it has kept many people alive. Food aid, has it happened recently? I remember during Moyera kulikuwa na yellow maize. So tulikuwa napewa mahindi like this famine, alafu sasa there was some cheap corn.
The yellow one tulipata you guys.
Na unajua uko wanaitumia for mang'ombe. Hiyo yellow
but maize. But kama ujedishi 3 days I don't think utapata time ya kuni search up facts. Mama moja niangalie Google kiasi.
You guys, so nacheki. So I don't know about that, but this modern era, it has many, like even I know in my circles a number of peeps who work with NGO, who do this NGO thing, and it's just a way of making a dollar, bruh.
It is, man, and I think we talked about it, and we were like, just look at one of the most paying jobs here in Kenya is working for some of these foreign aid companies.
Yeah.
Salos of upwards of 300 and something thousand. Yeah. We look at some of the cars, high-end cars that we see on the road. They belong to some of these foreign aid companies. So really, I'm like, where is this money? Like, see, hiyo do tu iende isolve shida mara moja.
Yeah,
like, I'm not saying just throw money at the problem, but like, can we just make it like a huge chunk of the money goes to actually helping or solving the problem, as opposed to creating all this big, a ballooned budget to accommodate all these employees and with fancy cars and fancy titles and all these salos, and just a fraction of the money goes to actually solve the problem.
Yeah, true. And then these guys really meet. You want to come a meeting, you guys. Hey, like there's normally some meetings in New York every year where guys go and meet. I've forgotten what it was called. But presidents go there. So now I saw my picture, the president walking in the streets in New York. Like they've been meeting from time immemorial. So I really wonder. And then kidogo they dash up to Addis. Addis kuna kuanga na hizi meeting bado African.
Is it the knee of AU, ama?
Yeah, AU.
Yeah.
So they go there and meet again. Alafu najua hizo meetings kuna logistics, transport, nini. Alafu dish. You get one of the goodnesses of these meetings of my journey dish. You can really, your mashavos can really swell. They can become like a small planet. Courtesy of the mandazis, bro.
Tai inapotea maze kwa shingo.
Check it. No. It's time for a short break. I know it's you guys have been waiting for long and you're so tired because this meeting has been going on from 9 and it is 10. So let's do this.
Chiki, hey, let's be quiet here. You're not being respectful. Be quiet. One at a time.
If you want to talk, let's go outside. All right, but let's meet here because it's almost time for mandazis. And then you guys they go out and then they come back, meet again. Alafu unatoka lunch, another heavy lunch. Alafu sasa unarudi labda inaitwanga aje? Plenary ama group. So you get into groups and discuss some of the things you are meeting about during the day.
Yeah.
And then you guys at the end of the day you guys pad diem.
Yeah.
Pad diem inaingia yake yote. Our guest is here. Welcome, sir. Right on time. Tulipewa message at 9. And here you are. All right, let's go. No problem. At least you're here.
Tulikuwa inaendelea, ni wewe tulikuwa tunangoja.
Mungu ni mwema bwana. We had so many presidents in town today.
Yes.
Then kukanyesha.
Yeah.
Zikafungana hivi.
Yeah.
Lakini crazy.
Tumefika.
So this is what we're going to do. We have a number of people who are waiting for you here. And I'm sure they're going to increase over here. So we're just going to
somewhere to ride then.
No, don't worry. It's a very relaxed, chilled out conversation.
Okay, unajua ni kujua mtu nani anasema nini. Mtu yule ananitukana nijue.
Bwana Yego, please get the big man something.
There's a full cup.
Yeah. and then we can continue.
Yes.
So this is what we're gonna do. We're just gonna get into it.
Yes.
Utapewa maji, don't worry.
Na hata niko sawa.
Uko sawa?
Nilikuwa na maji kwa gari. Gari yangu inakuanga na nini? Hata naweza lala.
Oh, okay. So Bashir, you have our introduction
Niko
there.
nayo hapa.
Yeah, so let's introduce our guest. Bwana Daktari, alafu tuendelee na show. Twende kazi.
Asante.
Without further ado, tonight's guest is a man who's managed to become Kenya's most famous referee of vibes. If a music video was too wild, if a comedian crossed the line, if a movie got too steamy, chances are he had something to say about it. Some people called him a protector of values, others called him the fun police. But whether you agreed with him or not, you definitely heard of him. From the Kenya Film Classifications Board to the Music Copyright Society of Kenya, he has spent years at the center of Kenya's biggest culture wars. Tonight, we sit down with the man, the myth, the moral compass, according to himself, Daktari Ezekiel Mutua. Karibu sana, welcome.
Karibu sana, sir.
Sani,
Wapi-
wananiita moral cop.
Wapi our applause over here? Kuna
Sasa-
applause hapa.
Oh.
Yeah, there you
yeah.
go. That's
Pinga.
better. So karibu sana, sir.
Thank you.
Umetoka hii meeting ya Africa Forward?
Nimekuwa hii Africa Forward.
Yeah. How's it going?
Very well. It's the biggest. I think Kenya has never had that kind of traction since independence.
We were
The first
discussing.
time we're having so many presidents and the foreign dignitaries in Nairobi. So really a great honor to our country. Kudos to the president for bringing this. You saw President Emmanuel Macron
Yes.
running around with Eliud Kipchoge.
Yeah,
Talking to students at the University of Nairobi and
Yeah.
just relaxing around. It's really the biggest, soft diplomacy, but also practical diplomatic boost that this country has ever received.
So for some of us who are not exposed to these things fully, what impact do some of those meetings have on the local, economy and the local geopolitics? Is it a big impact?
Gosh, life is about this. This is about international relations, bilaterals. This is about perception. To have almost 20 presidents in your country, it's no mean feat. First, it's a statement of trust.
Okay.
It's a statement of how peaceful this country is. It's a statement of how beautiful this country is. It's a statement of how Kenya has positioned itself in the world politics, in the geopolitics, in the region, to become like the hub. And we have, just by God's grace, also been positioned in a way that Jomo Kenyatta Airport is like the hub connecting different parts of the world.
Okay.
But the fact that our politics can get to a level where we can play at that link, where when presidents want to, or the world wants to, manage the direction of geopolitics in a certain way, Kenya becomes the centerpiece of that conversation. That in itself cannot be quantified in terms of money.
Okay.
In any case, to have that number of presidents and the international visitors who have come, the dignitaries, the bilateral agreements that are being signed, the deals, business deals that are being signed, the involvement of both governments and the private sector players in Nairobi, is in itself an unimaginable amount of business in itself, translating to billions just by the fact that they're here, because they are not just walking to Nairobi. They are not just hanging in the air. They are spending. They're interacting. They are doing business with the private sector. The exposure that we are getting as a country in the geopolitics of the world is unimaginable. So this is one of the greatest feats that Kenya has ever achieved since independence. Really. To say that this is big is an understatement. It's just unimaginable. There are so many factors that come in.
Okay.
The fact that, of course, Kenya is famous for many things, including our command and prowess in long distance running. We just brought the 2-hour mark in a marathon.
Yes.
We got it finally. We have tried, but in no more running, in no more race. Sebastian Sawe managed to get this just not too long ago. But Kenya has, while we have excelled in sports, while we have excelled in the prowess of our youth, in our innovations and so on, Kenya is the home of M-Pesa, one of the biggest mobile money transfer facilities in the world. But quite in terms of politics, we have never reached this level where a key player, you would say playing in the league of superpower, can come in Nairobi and feel so relaxed, and the presidents one after the other, not one, not two, not three, not four, 10 and counting in Nairobi. I think this is a major feat, really. So it has so many business, so many benefits, you know, across both politics, business, and in terms of the projection of Kenya as a global power as well.
My colleague was telling me there was an announcement by the French president about 23 billion euros. And he was I don't know if I should speak for you. Sorry, my brother.
It's okay.
Yes.
But he was saying that if somebody gives an amount of money like that, it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
There's something they're expecting back. So do you think that that is something we should think about, even as we are receiving this?
Like, what is
Business is
France
always
getting in
about
return?
personal interests. I never deal with people who have no personal interest in the first place. In terms of business, nobody gives you anything for free, but you're also not getting nothing. It's a question of, you get to the negotiating table, France is offering this is what we gain from it. If they're going to do their military training in Kenya, what does that say about our security, about investments within that sector? What is there for Kenya? And I can tell you, this is a deal well negotiated. This is a deal that benefits Kenya more than it benefits France. Remember, this deal is coming at a time when there's been some disquiet, simmering disagreements between France and the Francophone Africa, as it were.
Yes.
And where, you know, there was need to shift the relations and tweak the relationships in a way that Africa does not lose at the table in the global politics and the businesses. And remember, these countries have a lot of interests. It's not just about Francophone or Anglophone, it's about what is there for you. Now, coming to Kenya, or getting the Francophone in global interests vested in Kenya and investment coming in the tune of billions of euros and of dollars, it means first, we are a good country, we are a good investment place. We have the variables that are required for Kenya to play at that league and to be entrusted by the world with that kind of facility to be able to manage on behalf of a big country and a big power like France. That shift, you know, is very timely for Kenya, because you take advantage of all these variables and play politics. Life is about your friend is losing, you gain. As long as you're not taking advantage of the human values and the human rights. So Kenya saw an opportunity, and I think the president played it well. This is give it to him, because you don't just get these things happening. There are a lot of behind the scenes negotiations to answer to the question that you are saying, what is there for us? And to end up with this kind of meeting, Kenya Forward Summit, Africa Forward Summit in Nairobi, major feat, my brother. Major, unimaginable. It can only happen by a coincidence, a cocktail of events that just favor you. You know, there are times when nature conspires either to be against you or to be for you. Now, when nature decides to conspire for you or against you, there's nothing you can do. I think for the first time I can say, without any fear of equivocation, that nature has just conspired to favor the president and Kenya in that way. My hope is that those who are negotiating then are asking the question you're asking, what is there for Kenya, and protecting the best interest. Because again, it would be tragic if this was happening at the expense of our future.
Yeah, true.
But to the extent that you can get this, because anybody would pray for them to get what we got.
Yeah.
Anybody would pray that their country gets that kind of traction. The question is, the mandarins, the negotiators, the diplomats, the business people who are involved, whether they are putting the best foot forward to ensure that these deals benefit Kenya. Even when it's a coincidence, an unfortunate one, that some of the Francophone countries could be feeling jealousy and jilted, you take advantage. Life is not about, it's not a romantic thing. Life is about leadership is about taking advantage of situations to put your country forward. And that's why I'm very happy about the deals that have happened. And I can only hope that our negotiators and those who are signing and those who are involved, they can see beyond the lines and they are able to get the best for our country.
All right.
In terms of job creation, in terms of businesses, in terms of our security and the future of our country.
Okay. So is it that Kenya is well positioned and well equipped to take this opportunity, or is it that the francophone countries refuse these opportunities and that's why we got this opportunity?
Like I said, nature conspired because there's been that simmering differences between most of the francophone countries with France.
Yeah.
And they have been seeing their former colonial masters as a problem. Okay, that was not our problem as a country, but it's an opportunity we took advantage of. That's what happens in business, in life.
Yeah.
You take advantage and you jump into it as long as you are not doing it immorally to the point where you are taking advantage of other people's human rights.
Yeah.
So this is about pure politics, pure business, taking advantage of a situation and not really taking advantage by conniving behind the scenes. This has been there and we all knew. The question was which country would benefit from that simmering discontent between the francophone and their former colonial masters in France, and whether they were getting the short end of the stick. Now, then for France to see Kenya as a rallying point for their interests in Africa, we are just beneficiaries of a situation that we never created, and then going full throttle to position ourselves in a way that simmering disagreement benefits us. Because that's a question, not being taken advantage of, but benefiting from that. It happens in business, in politics. Everybody will take advantage of a situation to get the leverage, and that's what we have done. So one, Kenya is well positioned as the hub of Africa in terms of, if you look at Jomo Kenyatta and the kind of connections that we create within JKIA to other countries, Kenya is the hub. In terms of ICT, if you look at the global tech companies that are based here, if you look at our positioning in terms of the youth population and our versatility in terms of being able to speak English, the president made a joke. It was not taken lightly, but I think it is the truth, by the way, that our young people here can work anywhere, and what we call business outsourcing processes work very well here because nobody can spot your English. You know, the way they would spot a Nigerian or somebody from another country. Our young people speak English; they speak it well, and therefore we can be very good in managing. There is a lady actually who was doing an MC today with Mike Kitonga, and it was amazing. Me, I thought she's from West Africa. I was shocked later to learn she's a Kenyan.
Miriam.
Yeah, she took the floor, in impeccable French, then turned to English, and I was like, "What? This is a foreigner." Because to have that versatility where you can command both French and English and speak it with that sort of agility is a great thing. That shows the prowess of our youth, their versatility, their ability to learn and position themselves well. And she was beautiful, eloquent, and everything.
It's good you brought up the youth. Many young people watch this show of ours, and we try, when a guest of your caliber comes through, we try and get some gems from your life.
Yes.
And I think I'll switch the conversation to that. First of all, you're always looking very sharp.
Yeah, forgive me. This was because of the rain.
No. Forgive you for looking sharp.
I'm looking sharp.
No, you're always very smart.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're always
it's brought up like that.
That's what I wanted to ask. What happened? How did you get this?
I, by some strange coincidence, you know how you can turn a lemon into a lemonade. I went to school late. Then by so doing, because I was big, I think I got it right and I was number one from arrival.
Okay.
And then that again very quickly positioned me to leadership. So by the time I was in class 4, I was being seen as a leader. So by the time I was doing class 7, because I was in school 77 to 83, I was doing primary. So you are not born. So
77 to
83.
Oh,
7 years. I was in that former, the last A level. So by the time I was doing my class 7, I was a leader in Ikumeni Primary School.
Were you
In
the
Mwala.
neatest child in the school?
I was also number one, and I even topped actually.
Oh, you're the
region.
top of your class?
Yeah, and I also was the head boy.
Eish.
So you see now, but I always think because I went late, I was big, I was exposed.
How old were you when you went to school?
Not that old. I think I was about 12 or something.
Okay.
Yeah. So not that old, but by the standards. And also, and another advantage again, where you turn a lemon into a lemonade. My father used to brew karubo, and teachers in that area, that was like the best bar in the region, our home. So teachers used to come, and there's one teacher actually called Teacher Anthony, who said, what is the guy doing here? He's intelligent. I don't know what I said or what I did, but he demanded that I go to school the following day.
All right.
So I interacted with that, and then because I had many brothers and sisters ahead of me, I used to see books strewn all over, and I just developed some interest. Then I hear this is a teacher is coming to our homestead looking very smart. And then again, this impresses me. So by the time I was getting into school, my perception of life had been shaped by both my elder brothers and sisters, the books that were just thrown around in, shady homestead. But I can see this is good handwriting. This looks nice. This is a cartoon here. It's a drawing. So I went to school already not like from the bush.
Okay.
And that gave me a head start. So I ended up now just taking leadership early in life. And then them days we used to be cheered. If you are well behaved, you are hardworking, you are smart. There used to be awards for being smart, for coming early, for performing well, and you used to be celebrated. Actually, you didn't need to become even to hold a position to be celebrated and to be popular. You just needed to do the right thing. You are disciplined. You are not being punished all the time. You are arriving early. You are finishing assignment on time. There was a time when morals worked, when it didn't matter whose child you are or where you came from or which background you had, you were celebrated and you became famous in the village to the point where the pastor knew you, the teachers knew, everybody knew you, and they celebrated you as one of their own because of your hard work and performance. Okay. So that gave me a head start. So going to secondary school head boy, prefect this, CU captain, school captain, CU chairman, up to the time I did my A-levels in 1989 in Tala High School, and that was a very big school. I was the CU chairman and school captain of that school.
All right.
Then I went to Kenyatta University. Again, I got into student leadership in 1990. When I got to KU, I was already famous. Moi had come to Mwala, our president then, to Mwala Secondary School. And because I was the CU chairman, there used to be a guy called Mulu Motesia, who was the kingpin of Ukambani.
Yeah.
And I think they had a conversation with the headmaster called Mr. Peter Kituku, God rest his soul in eternal peace. He passed on. They joked that there's a guy here, the CU chairman, who prays for people to get well. Mulu was unwell. So when Mulu was speaking, he gave that joke. And Moi paid attention. And there's a guy here who prays for people to get well. I don't even know what it was. But I was that vibrant young boy in school who even teachers used to love, and they would say, come and pray for me. I can't even remember what the prayer was or what had happened. But somehow, I was taken the following day to Mulu, and I didn't know it is the Moi who had said that boy. We had also done a play. I was very good in acting. So there was a play that we had done, which we presented, and the Moi liked it. That threw me into the limelight, because I went to Mulu, ended up in State House, and by the time I was getting to university, I was known.
Oh.
I was very famous. And therefore, students came to my room and demanded that I become their leader, because then, if you are famous and you can take students to see Moi, then they get money. That time we used to live with huge amounts of money. You see how nature is conspiring to throw me into the limelight even when I really desired to do so.
Yeah.
So that's me.
Okay.
As I got into this. So by the time I finished in KU in 1994, I was like a national leader. There was no mtandao then. So when you earn your fame, you earned it properly. And because of my relationship with Moi, I was even posted before I graduated as a DO in Siaya.
Oh.
No, DO was a very big man then.
Yeah.
A year Rigiji was a DO. So those were the times. So, but then I didn't like the straight jacket job and so on. And you are posted, you have not graduated. I finished in February. By May, there's this conversation about my being DU in Siaya. I tried to go there. It's very far. This time I've just finished university, and my prayer was that I'll go back and save my father's family, because we are very poor. And I wanted the siblings behind me to get a chance in life. Number two, I promised my mother that this is the end of poverty. Nimemaliza chuo. I'll get a job and I'll sort out this mess.
Yeah.
Now you're in Siaya, it's very far. So like being abroad. So I come to Nairobi, I tell the DC I want to go and sort myself, nikuje na kitanda na vitu kadhaa, ni settle vizuri. But I came and found the nation was employing. So I come to Nairobi, and some guy in the street, I meet a guy, I'm introduced by a friend, and then they say, are you aware that nation is employing? And he gives me a small note and says, take it to Wangeli Mwangi in the Nation Center. He was the editorial director. And I get there, and I'm like, oh, you are the Mutua. I used to write some correspondence, some articles as a correspondent. Yes, as a student, leader, and so on. And you can't believe I'm here. He's celebrating me. So he tells me, if you're given an interview, you can... I say, yes, I'm here. I do the interview. Now, as a DO, I was earning 7,900. Here, I'm started with 49K. My friend.
That's a big difference.
I did not even ever go to claim anything from Siaya.
Yeah.
From 7,900 to 49.
Yeah. That's a big leap.
Big. Then I grew the ranks, from a trainee reporter. Nation takes me to school. There were very good programs. That time, Nation, after the 1992 elections, Nation was being accused of having campaigned for the Kikuyu candidates, Matiba and Kibaki, and it was pro-Kikuyu, because most of the leadership and top managers were Kikuyus. So they wanted to rebrand. They wanted to get that tag out of there. It was not good for their business. So they were employing young, vibrant undergraduates, bright guys who went leadership and so on. So very quickly, again, I grew through the ranks. I went a command of English. So I could write for Taifa Leo. I could write for the Daily Nation, for East African, which we started later, Sunday Nation, and so on. Very popular again within a very short time.
What was the secret behind these quick, rapid rises?
From that poverty, first of all my life I've been chased by one thing: to overcome the demon of poverty. I saw it. I lived it. We were so poor, my brother. Poor people used to call us poor. We were bad. I can't give you the story. I don't have the time, and I get very emotional about it.
No, we have time.
That environment in Ukambani. Ni maisha ya karubu kupig. At your home is the biggest club.
No sleep
in the village. There were no clubs then. There were no bars in the village. So teachers, wale wanataka kuja kujiburudisha wanajiburudishia hapo. Wale wakora wote wa village wanataka pombe wanakunywa hapo. And I hated that thing. I saw it tear my father's family, and he became violent and so on. And I was saying, I think there's a better life, because of course I had seen, and Anango was a pastor, and I could see the difference and how they are progressive. His children were living well. What kind of life is this? Kukinyesha, munaweka karai mahali hapo katikati, because hiyo mvua inapiga hapo mpaka kuna bomoka hapo ndani ya nyumba because of maji. And you're sleeping at the certain corner. You have to keep changing the bed position. And I hated it. I was too bright to see there's a better life. And then it developed in me the hatred for two things. One, poverty, and then the violence that I saw, the GBV that I saw in my family. And at certain point, I stopped my dad from beating my mother. I held his hand. And I told him, you never do it again. And I was a small boy, could have just killed me. I mean, I don't know what got into me. But it stopped. And so I became, although I'm placed in the middle in the family, people think I'm the eldest in my family. I'm not. I'm right at the middle. I have some elder brothers and sisters. I have some young people. And so that being thrust into the scene by one, God's design, but also you are chasing an enemy called poverty, and then this violence that I saw in our home. And I thought there can be a better life. And I kept thinking about it. I went to Sunday school early, and those values of just reading verses and going for competition.
Who threw you in that direction?
It is that angle of mine.
Oh, okay.
I think, He used to even to carry me with his bike, and as he rides it to go for where he used to pastor, he's talking these words: don't give up. Sometimes, you can be the one who will save this. Those things that we tell children, they mean a lot. that guy planted for me, in me, the desire to improve that situation. And so that rather than play victim, I would stop it where I must, including when I thought it's not good for my father to beat my mother. And though I was not the eldest, though I was not strong enough to fight him or to resist him physically, I told him it is not right. And when I held his hand, it was like, he says it was like big force.
Oh.
And it got him to think that this child can be the one doing this. And it got him to think. And really that situation changed. There's a time he left home for quite some time when I was in secondary school. And when I finished Form 4, I went looking for him. And I got him.
Oh, he had disappeared.
He had disappeared. He sold everything. He sold even VT, you know. It was a bad situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they had a rocky relationship with my mom.
Okay.
He kept marrying, but my mother never left. She was always a constant figure. And she said, we would ask her, why are you tolerating this? And she said, because of you. Number 2, she said, your father was a very good man when I married him. Pombe ndio imemwaribu. By the way, to date, I've never tasted beer. Okay? I'm going into my 60s and I'm going to 60 and I've never tasted beer. But so there were all those variables working in me. But somehow I had the grace to get that, to have a sense of right and wrong when I was a very young child. That's why going to school, they would appoint me a head boy. They would appoint me a prefect. It was just a sense of right and wrong, that you can work hard, you can be disciplined, and you can live a good life, and you can avoid getting into the wrong side of the law. That used to be celebrated in the village, like I've told you. Everybody would admire you. Even girls would sing songs for you. They would love you without any strings attached. And I found that very nice. So that is my background.
Yeah.
So by the time I was getting to Nation, within a very short time, even though there were very big writers, the likes of Tom Mushindi, Kwendo Panga, that time Kina Mutuma Matthew, they were big writers. So I was nobody in the equation, but I became very popular until I was appointed the leader of the editorial in terms of the journalists. And that's what got me later to become the Secretary General countrywide for Kenya Union of Journalists. Just being able to say, I think Nation can do better. You are the biggest media house in East and Central Africa. You cannot condemn Kanu that time. You are condemning Moi and you are doing similar things. So I would stand up against the status quo and say this is not right. I started programs. I would tell them you can take your journalists to the best universities they learn, because you cannot inform when you are not informed. And it made sense to some MDs. They would like, who is that guy? And they would have interest, and then when they called me, I would make sense. So that's how that just combination of factors thrust me into the leadership. And by 2001, journalists overwhelmingly, in fact, my competitors pulled out of the race the last week, and I was elected at the Stanley Hotel. That time it was one of the biggest hotels in town. And KUJ had never done elections in such a facility. It was only LSK, but I brought KUJ to that status of LSK. And then I left Nation, worked there. Later on, I was appointed Director of Information and the Public Communications, and I made a difference. That department,
which is now government, right?
Yeah, now government. I moved actually 360. I moved from KUJ, where I was defending press freedom. We had just started the Media Council, but there was an act of parliament that was being done called Media Act 2007, and I really pushed it and brought in the government. Although initially I wanted self-regulation of the media, and this was the point. We had gotten into the specter of gutter press. These guys who would write things they sell on the streets and they have no fixed abode. You don't know where they are. You can't serve them writs or summons. And they would paint people. They were preying on big leaders. You find some scandalous things.
Yeah.
And you can't find them. You can't sue them. As they say in law, you can't sue a man of straw. Even if you go to them, they are just guys who are hanging around depending on extortion and very bad, giving journalism a very bad name. And as the KUJ Secretary General, I thought I needed to defend this profession. I was saying, why don't we have a code of ethics? Lawyers have their own regulatory mechanisms. Engineers have, accountants have, medical sector has. Why would journalists claim to be professionals and they have no code of ethics. So for the first time, that code of ethics you see now with the Media Council, it has my footprints. I wrote those first clauses on media fairness, accuracy, the principles of journalism. So we started it. So I was pushing for that. And then when Kibaki came to power, the likes of Kalonzo Musyoka, Rafa Otuju were very powerful ministers then. They would engage me. That time I was a powerhouse. I used to be item number 1 on every news. They would engage me and say, you're making sense, but this thing has no legal backing. If you summon somebody and they don't come, utafanya nini? Utadu. And then I saw they were making sense. You know, you can fight the government, but you don't have to be, ignorant of when people are making sense. It's good to agree with them. So Tuju convinced me, and I agreed with him. He told me you need some legal backing. You can make it quasi-government, so that you can summon them and they can come. So that if somebody defames someone, instead of them going to court and the journalist is fined a lot of money, you have another moderation here which is self-regulation, but it has some legal teeth. So we came up with Media Act 2007. I can tell you, brother, I worked for that thing to the end. And that's why when now they advertise for the Director of Information, it had already been embedded into the Media Act 2007. And therefore, they had to advertise for Director of Information because he's the one who was going to be running that as the appointing authority. And therefore, I appointed, being one of them, appointed the rest. Actually, they took the oath in my name.
Okay.
Yeah, it was that powerful. So I served there. Now, while there, allow me to give you this story. I was born again when I was in Form 1, so I started relating with a lot of people. And because of this, being a leader, like I told you, being the CU chairman and school captain in Tala was a major feat. Moi knew who the captain of that school was. And a lot of people knew. It was not just like today when everybody can become. So I was known. And so I started relating with bishops and senior people in the people of faith across. So by the time I was being appointed the Director of Information, people were coming. When I was announced, bishops, big people were coming to my office. I remember Bishop Kitonga was among the first. And he told me, now that you are here and you are one of us, get us frequencies. We want to have radios for the church.
Okay.
And I say, oh yeah, by the way, the church should be telling its story like anybody else. So I call Communications Authority and they tell me, Chief, we have no frequencies. Why? The spectrum is congested. What do you mean it's congested? Tell me, it's like a road.
I think there's a problem with your microphone.
Yeah, there's so many.
I think there's a wire. Just touch this wire a little. Right there, yeah?
This one?
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
back.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
So, I call Communications Authority of Kenya. They tell me, no, we can't. There are no frequencies, particularly in Nairobi. Of course, there were a lot of corruption. Some people were sitting on them. Somebody gets 30 frequencies and they are doing selling buying. But I was like, these bishops cannot give me peace. And because I'm known, they are coming and they are saying, you are one of us. Motivated by that, I decided to get involved and I asked what was the issue. I was told the media was resisting digital migration because they thought it was a government ploy to deny them business and to regulate them. So I said, but I'm a journalist myself and I've been working with the biggest media house. I've been Secretary General of KUJ. They should trust me. So I was told, go ahead with the agenda. So I pushed that thing, Bana. We went up to Supreme Court. And when we won, and the Supreme Court, it's the apex body then, it had come into, because we won in 2015, that war took almost 5 years, back and forth in courts, negotiations. But when we won, the private media switched themselves off. There was no TV in Kenya for 3 weeks. Do you remember a moment like that?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, of course they didn't like it, so I was painted very badly. Some of the negative stories you see, they were from them days. Yeah, you have won against the media up to Supreme Court, and you are still insisting. At some point, it was either you sack these guys. They went and told Uhuru Kenyatta was the president then. You have a choice to work with these guys, and you have no media support, or you just get rid of them. And I told the president, you are not elected by the media owners. Number two, they have misunderstood this agenda. If you back off and there's no digital migration, they will also blame you. And you know why? Today, if you look at it, media is sustained by the digital platforms. If we backed off and lost leadership and allowed what the media was fearing to dominate, there wouldn't be digital 3G. We'll be still in 3G. Now we are 4G. We have high-speed internet. So many benefits. This TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, all those platforms, X, wouldn't be there. And those are the platforms that are pushed Kenya and the young people into business. And also the revolution of democratization of this space has been really pushed by those digital media platforms. Now you can imagine if we shied off and say, I don't want my name to be soiled.
Did they come and try to give you some dollar bills to change your stance?
There is one time, I tell you, when one media owner walked into that, and I'm told he earned 30 million. Yes, true story. And I realized he had an appointment with the minister, and I jumped in and I told the minister, be careful about this. You can be trapped, it can be a mess. But number two, we had already agreed this is good for Kenya. We will never move from 3G to 4G to 5G. We never have high-speed internet. We will never have the versatility of the digital platforms and the digital dividends if we stay in analog. I got comedians and other people like, Smart Joker. And
I remember
others.
the song.
Tumetoka analog. We were doing it as Serena.
Yeah.
I was there, right there when we were doing that song.
Okay.
And we paid him. And we were trying to get the media to understand. And but I got a lot of flags for it because they were saying this was the Secretary General of KUJ. And he's now the one working with the government to muzzle. They were seeing it that way.
Yeah.
But we stood our ground because leadership is about being able to see tomorrow, even when other people are resisting, and you work hard and take them there the way Moses took people from Egypt to the land of the promised land, even though he never got there. But, he pushed that agenda.
Yeah.
So today we are enjoying the dividends of digital migration. I bear the scars of that battle, both in my soul and in my body. It was bad, my brother. Terrible. They could even kill you for it. They were seeing like media business will come to an end. And I was using the same argument, but I'm one of your own. I'll be the last person. When we started even this, this media, it was called, there's something that was paying the media, aggregating the business and the government advertising agency, GA. The model was super. It was just about, we are the biggest advertiser. We can create a model where we can equalize. The idea was actually to kill monopoly of media ownership.
Okay.
So that RG and other radios can have a chance. They didn't have a chance. Concentration of media ownership was in the hands of 5 guys. Yeah, I can mention them. It was then the Royal Citizen, KTN, Nation, Family, and KBC. The small guys who were coming into the scene, they could not get advertising. Totally. And I was like, no, it's not good for democracy. The digital media also need a chance. And if you allow a situation where Mutua can allow all the advertising money to go to a certain media house because they are the biggest and because they give him airtime, you'll kill these other media houses. They'll never grow. So I've stood for the truth all my life, even when it cost me my reputation, because I was built on a very solid ground when I was a child. When you get into leadership early, you learn to be criticized. You learn to be hated. You learn to be bashed. You learn to make decisions even when majority against you, as long as you know this is for the wider good. And I think that has helped me to date. So that's my story, bro.
It's interesting. It's like a history lesson.
Yeah.
Like you've taken us through history, and it's quite interesting. So do you find yourself at MCSK now?
What happened is when we moved the digital from analog to digital in 2015, again moved by, one understanding of this area, because when I became director of information in 2007, I realized I needed to go back to school and get a master's from the University of Nairobi in media. So when I did a master's in media studies and communication, so that I can speak, I can understand these things. And then immediately registered for my PhD in Mo University in the same area, so that you are not just leading. And and this was very torturous process because I was going to school in the evening
Despite your schedule.
Yeah, despite my very basic schedule, I would be there and I'm doing assignments over the weekend. There's a time I served at UNESCO. I was the deputy chairman of UNESCO's Information and Communications Committee for 3 years. I served in New York as a member of the committee, UN Secretary General's Committee on Information. Again, driving global policies on information and communication. And that's why when I was coming to Kenya to speak about digital migration, I knew what I'm talking about. Number two, I'm backing it. I mean, I have a master's from the University of Nairobi, and I'm a PhD student. So we could talk. Then I've been journalist with the nation's biggest media. I was in East and Central African Nation Media Group. I'm in Secretary General of KUG. Now I'm Director of Information. And 360-degree look of these things. So I know the media in and out. And both by practice, by experience, and by education. I am among the best, by the way. Yeah. Okay?
Yes.
I mean, I doubt there's anybody who has played both as a practitioner, as a labor and, bread and labor issues that KUG deals with. Then you move now to regulatory or to government policy. You move to regulation. I think that advantage is preserved for a few. But I managed. And then the fact that I went to school and then I served in UNESCO. I served in New York for the UN Secretary General's Committee. So I had a global outlook of things. That's why during the mediation in 2008, when Kofi Annan was based in Nairobi, I am the one who was chosen to run the coordination. When the PNU and ODM, it was like I need a non-allied professional who can just deal with these issues.
You were in there.
So I was flying around with Kofi Annan and Mkapa and Gracia Machel. And it was out of recognition of professionalism and my solid grounding with that kind of experience, exposure, and so on.
How was that time?
Yeah.
How was that? You can give us a snippet of that time?
Man, it was power. Power at its best. We're flying with military choppers and we are guarded. You are in this aeroplane, but the others, you feel. But it was a sad situation because we are going to the hotspots where the violence was taking place. And you could see the IDPs camps building up. We had never had those stories before. You'd get there and you see the carnage, the damage. And it was a sad story. But the fact that, I was a very young guy. I think that time I was getting into my late 30s and so on. And then you are thrust into that life where you're dealing with the former UN Secretary Generals, heads of state, and so on to try and bring peace to your country. And then you're in charge of the media. And for the first time, I got the media. Thank God for the great mentors I had, like Professor Mbitang Ndemo, who was the PS, and who gave me all the support I needed, both money and everything. And he never felt like he was smaller because I was doing these things. He mentored me well. He was proud of me. He would praise me, everything. The way you're saying, that was my boss, Mbitang Ndemo. Okay. And because I was the professional, he allowed me to do those things, including digital migration, when that peace mediation process came. And therefore, when we entered into the coalition government and Raila came into government, the first evening at Serena, we spent almost 5 hours. That's how big I was. Yeah, that is how big I was. And, you say just by grace of God and the fact that I had a good name. Even when you criticize, really, the truth of the matter is I was brought up differently. And having been in leadership from that early age and all this exposure by God's grace, because when I was Secretary General of KUJ, I traveled the world. I was giving speeches at Geneva at the ILO meetings, and they would be quoted globally. So when we finished digital migration in 2015, I was giving you that story. What happened is I saw the danger that would come with opening up the airwaves and the cyberspace to global content. And therefore, I thought a small body called Kenya Film Classification Board would play a very crucial role in classification, examination, and classification of content, and setting guidelines for age appropriateness for the content that we watch on TV and radio. Because what was going to happen, I saw it, because I'd been part of that process, there would be a multiplicity of radio stations, TV stations, digital platforms, including Netflix. You know, it launched in Kenya, and my minister went to attend that meeting, and I issued a statement that he shouldn't have, because before we allowed them to start streaming in Kenya, we should have aligned their content with KFCB classification. And the nation and my picture and the minister, government officials clash over the Netflix.
Yeah.
But I was the one on the right. By that time, I was really condemned, almost lost my job. But I stood my ground. Fortunately, I think some countries in the West also argued the same. South Africa took the same position. And within a very short time, now it became like the rallying point, until we formed a standardization committee that was based in South Africa, and I was the deputy president, just because the host nation had to have the president. But otherwise, I influenced the entire thing, and we took that conversation to the AU to determine the policies of the the AU, Africa Union, in respect to how media shapes opinion, how this bad content that has foreign influence will affect our children, how new concepts like betting and gambling and how you have access on your phone because of internet availability would affect our children, but how well we can also use these platforms to promote good values and so on. So when KFCB advertised for a CEO in 2015, quickly, just after finishing digital migration, I moved in to become the regulator and became very powerful.
And people were, it was also trying times in terms of the backlash.
Oh, it was bad because I got there and remember, beer adverts used to appear at 7. You'd have some of the products that are consumed by adults, and by law, they should not be advertised during the watershed period. Watershed in Kenya is between 5 in the morning to 10 in the evening, and the law states clearly all programs, particularly that time in free-to-air radio and TV, should be suitable for the family, meaning the levels of nudity, vulgarity, obscenity should be moderated so that we can watch the TV with our families, with your mother-in-law, with your parents, without having to pray that there's blackout. Because that's what used to happen. You are just watching the TV and something nasty, something quite unpalatable. So I said, why do we allow it? And the law does not allow. So the first thing, I banned those beer adverts. And that was major, you know. They went to court, I won. Then I banned some movie that was promoting LGBTQ. And that agenda was very popular. It was being pushed in Kenya. And this part of this migration now became an advantage for them. Then now streaming services like Netflix and others, that's where those agendas were being passed. And my argument was, as long as you fit within the regulation, I have no problem with you. What people do in their private is none of my business. My problem is, don't do it in public. It's not in the line with the law. So there was nothing wrong with what I was doing. I never lost a case. Yeah, unless there's vitu zingine wanawekeleanga tu. But I never lost a single case that I did in my office as a regulator. So when we said Netflix must comply with the classification guidelines of the Kenya Film Classification Board, we looked like we are crazy. The minister was like, Chief, this is a subscriber service. It is somebody who went and subscribed. It's not for children. But I'm saying the parents went and subscribed based on the age appropriateness that is there, but the American rating is not the rating of Kenya. Chief, you need to see beyond, because a 12-year-old kid will be using swear words in America and it looks okay. Here in Kenya, we don't want to bring our children up that way. So that was the argument, seeing beyond the normal. So there was a lot of bashing, a lot.
Is that the time they started calling you Deputy Jesus?
Deputy Jesus, Moro, all those things. They were actually snides to make me discouraged and so on. I stood firm. Let me tell you, when you stand by your grounds, there's a way nature rewards you, even when it looks like you are done and finished. There's a time, a young lady from one of the media houses called me, and she's making fun, and I didn't know she was recording me. And she says, did you hear about this gay lion? I said, what gay lion? She says, there was a lion in Masai Mara. It was photographed by a British photographer. And they were gay, 2 lions. I asked what you mean. So me, I didn't know I was being recorded, which is subterfuge. By the way, it's not allowed in law. According to media ethics, it's subterfuge. You should alert me that I'm
being recorded.
Yeah, I'm recording you, Chief. So that's what you say.
Yeah.
But you know, it's different from a casual talk. You know, there's what you say when you are pronouncing policy, but there are jokes like we crack or some casual statements. So me in my casual statement, nothing unpalatable really, but I say, how did you know they were gay? And this lady goes on, and I say, that's very strange. I think maybe they watched these things from some of those wazungus who come around. Chief, I didn't know I was being recorded.
It was published.
Then I say, so what do you think should happen? I say those lions should be taken into custody and then they are studied by scientists. Hiyo tabia walitoa wapi? So you see, these are things we are laughing, the way you're laughing.
Yeah.
Man, I'm being recorded. That time, within an hour, I'm in the office on a quiet day. But within an hour, I was trading number 1 on Twitter. And I traded for 3 weeks. And then Kenya, at that time, they were experiencing this new phenomenon of Twitter. So it's like this fool. I remember there was a challenge that was done on Twitter. So people were disowning me. So ni Mkamba, Wakamba wanasema hatuwezi kuwa na mjinga kama huyo. So ni Mkikuyu. Wakikuyu wanasema wako na mjinga wao, si alikuwa nani? Ni Mmasai. Masai wanasema wako na wao. Nilipelekwa mpaka Tanzania. You know, it was just fun. So the more the traffic, the more my name is appearing.
Yeah.
But that time, Trevor Noah was really at the top of the game in CNN. With I think Trevor Noah show or something. It was called
The
what?
Daily Show.
The Daily Show was at the top. He picks that thing from the media as if it was true, and paints me as an homophobic, a guy who lives in his own world. He was actually shocked that there's a human being who is that stupid. And it was not true. It was this. So things are mutating, taking their own course, and I have no control.
But
and
how did you feel about it, though?
I'm featured in the Vanguard. I was traumatized. My kids would be hiding from school.
Okay.
I mean, they go to school and they told you, your father doesn't know that the lions are not, they don't learn from people. Yeah. You know, that kind of thing. Sometimes I would buy newspapers from Lavington. You know, my kids wasisome. Nimeandika story mbaya, my friend.
Unanunua ma newspapers.
Unanunua kwa venda, huyo anaenda analeta tena. Unasema wewe, nimekununulia gazeti, mbona unanunua unaleta tena?
Oh, so it was a rough time.
Terrible. I can tell you. Until now, my wife prepared the kids to know, you know, dad is working, and, you know, in life, you can't be loved by everybody and so on. But it was terrible.
Okay.
And then it's out of an agenda. Just, you see, these guys who do this kind of things, they really fund their programs. If they identify you as the enemy, and this is how the world works, including what is happening now in Nairobi today. So if you are pro this and they like you, they'll give you a lot of money to push that agenda. If they don't like you, they'll squeeze, they'll demonize you and so on. That's how life works. So I was most of the times finding myself in that situation. But this is how it worked. While they're traumatizing me in Kenya and trolling me, Hollywood Film Festival in California was looking for a chief guest for their edition in 2019. And they're asking if they want a fresh face, you know, fresh face. Want a new guy. You know, I'm told ilikuwa inatupwa huku. We get Obama, we get Peter Nyong'o, you know. Oh, what about that hooligan?
The Lions
of Africa. He's funny.
Yeah.
That guy is funny, you know. What kind of thinking is that? Why don't we get him? And they vote. Out of a board of 11 members, 9 voted that I'm the chief guest. So I've put on Emirates first class to California. I was staying at a hotel called Roosevelt Hotel. That's where the Oscars guys stay. It's just next to where the Oscars take place. I don't even know what. I'm just a victim of circumstance in a positive sense now.
Yeah.
My friend, I enjoyed power. Yeah. First class Emirates. Umelipwa. Pesa mingi.
Yeah.
Now you are on diplomatic passport, bwana. Man, hey, you know, it was good.
Good times.
Good times, man. That hotel, you can't, not every Tom, Dick and Harry can stay there.
Yeah.
And then you are speaking to these guys. And they were engaging me. They wanted to know my thinking. They thought I'm a weird species of human being. Yeah, so they were engaging me with pity. How do you reason? Then they realize I'm not as bad as I look.
Or you sound. The sound on a clip.
We engaged, and then they were like, wow, he's good. I remember one lady, and she's a lesbian. But she was like, you will succeed. She was crying after I give my speech. Because I told them I have nothing against gay people. I absolutely nothing. I hate the thing, but human beings, you have a choice. But don't offend others. Democracy is about a majoritarian, the majoritarian rule. The majority have their way, the minority have their say. It's just about decency. If many people here don't smoke, don't come and pump this thing on us. It's just decency. And then I went into, they realized I'm not as foolish as they thought. Because the stories were appearing. And you see the international media picks from our local media. That time, majority of the conversations were driven by the mainstream media, the newspapers and the TV. Now we have moved into a digital environment where I can tell my story. So I don't care much because you misrepresent me. I'll correct it on my X, on my Instagram, on my Facebook. I issue my statement. I don't have to go to any media house. But that time we were disadvantaged. People run with a story and you're looking very funny in town until they hear your side of the story. But it got me to Hollywood, man.
First class.
Oh, yes. But even being there, being in Hollywood as a guest appearing in their role as someone who has ever featured there in their programs is a major feat.
Yeah,
it's a major feat.
And remember where you're coming from.
And remember, I come from a place which is not in Google Maps. Kutoka mahali ingine tulikuwa tunaita God forsaken until I came in. Now people started saying you were supposed to be born a duke, but because for God so loved the Kamba people
that he gave. So now your tenure at KFCB, you have good memories of the time.
Absolutely. Nothing but pride, really. The things we did, we set the tone. Now KFCB is very stable because of the tone we set. We could have shied off, enjoy life. So all that bashing, all those things that I went through, I'm very proud of the record there.
Okay.
History vindicates you.
Yeah.
Yeah, history has a way of vindicating you. And it is very nice when you know the truth. And you see now with also the equalization, because I think this digital space is an equalizer. You can be able to see that what you did, even though that time it looked like there were doubts, but you meant the good decision for the wider good of the country. Now you can see where we are. I'm very good when you invite me to a digital platform, and that the media ownership in Kenya today is now decentralized. We can enjoy liberalization, because my argument was liberalization of the media cannot just be a law. It has to be practical, where the concentration of the ownership is not in the hands of a few. And then the multiplicity of the media platforms, some that are dealing with health, others with sports, others vernacular stations of all diversity, where our culture and the beauty of our country can be told in its diversity. Those things will not be possible today if we are relying on 5 guys telling the same story, having similar editorial policies.
Yeah.
So to think like that, to go to school at night and get my master's and my PhD and bring in those policies, Media Council, I was the first person to take the oath. Now look at the Media Council of Kenya. We had no budget, not a single bob. I was the first to give them the first 10 million. Now that council is one of the biggest in Africa, other than the Press Council of South Africa. I think Media Council of Kenya is the biggest. I was the first to serve there for 7 years. Copyright Board, I served there for 7 years, set the structures. Now check Kekobo. Sometimes they bash me now, but I set those frameworks and employed even the people who bash me today. I saw the potential. I recruited them. They came during my time because I served with 3 chairmen. And we were top notch. I served under Jimmy Makosi. Then I served under Dr. Henry Chakava, was a big name. People were, in the link of, the biggest names in publishing industry in Africa. And then later with Tom Mushindi. So I served the longest in Media Council, the longest in the Kenya Copyright Board, the longest in KMPC. I was the director there. We restructured all those things. The things you are seeing them implementing did not start with the implementation. It's the work that we did behind the scenes to say we need to be like BBC. We need to have a KBC, which is a national broadcaster that is well endowed, well funded, and so on. Some of those programs started during my time as a director. Okay. And then, like I've told you, my brother, having experience, education, experience, and exposure, you can't go wrong. And my challenge to leaders, even in businesses and in all these spaces, is that try and command your area. You never go wrong. And if you're not led by greed, and I can tell you, I mean, my history speaks for itself. There was no money we were being paid when I was a head boy of Ikumene Primary School in 1983. It was not out of money. When I was the head boy of Mwala Secondary School in 1987, it was not for money. When I was the school head boy, captain of Tala High School in 1989, it wasn't because of money. You know, people think, I see now people even sometimes discussing my salary, and I'm like, I worked. It's not about money. Right now, like I told you, I was telling my brother who brought me in, we have started a program called Mema. Have you heard about it?
I was about to ask you what...
It's a revolutionary idea, and I just got it. I was just driven by deep thinking on how can we turn the plight of our artists into... How can we change it? Because I've been going for awards, and I see people getting trophies and no money. Even if there's money, kidogo-san, but most of them, no money. Then they go and keep those trophies in their cabinet, and there's nothing. And out of these digital platforms, in 2024, we started a program to mentor young people on TikTok. I never been in TikTok, but I got my young PS to start an account for me. We started a program called the CEO's platform. And we're meeting every evening to mentor the youth and to tell them, listen, the internet does not forget. Don't drop your guard because you're in a space where you can say anything and you think nobody's watching. We are CEOs. When we invite you for an interview, we look at your social media and your behavior, because if you want to know the real character of a person, it is how they post, how they behave on those spaces, because there is no regulation. So we're just trying to bring that education. When one guy came from the United States, he was working with the the United States Army, and he introduces himself and says, I've been following you guys behind the scenes and I love what you're doing. I've been working with the US Army, but I support creatives in Kenya, and I'm coming back to Kenya, and Daktari, I would like to work with you. I would like you to mentor me. And, you know, he was a young guy who retired. He's called Solomon Oboto. He calls himself myogenic. Myogenic used to send money. He was in the US Army and grown through the ranks, and he was earning some good money. So he was sending money to support, to identify and nurture talent. So they go to Kilifi and do raw auditioning, you know, young people. So he was doing those kind of things across the country, just to give back to community. When he told me and he came back to Kenya out of that meeting from TikTok, we met on TikTok. When he came, we sat down, and I heard what he was doing. I told him, you not make much difference that way. They are already finished products. People are winning awards. Radio show hosts like yourselves who are finished, they are up there with the best. If you help those ones, they can come back and help these ones, rather than struggling. And there's no chance of making money with someone who has never seen a microphone before. If you make money, you'd be able to support even those ones. But if you start spending everything you have in the village doing auditioning with people who have never seen a microphone, they have never acted before, it may cost you. You may not go far. He agreed with me. So we started going for awards and saying, after you get your trophy, now come, we need you. Because it means you have been processed for you to win this and win that. And we started by those ones, and we started mentoring them. I ended up becoming the patron of an African body called Youth in Africa, out of the same passion, and many other organizations. But every event we were going, we are either supporting this candidate, we are supporting this event, we are giving our money, and there's no return, and there's no sustainability. And so I kept asking Solomon, what can we do to make these things sustainable? Because, I mean, things can happen and we don't have money. And one night I got the idea of starting an award platform, which is not really an award. First, I studied the way betting and gambling behaves, and the reports we are getting about young people putting even their school fees, some men betting their rent and so on. Then I looked at our artists. They are only good and celebrated when they can sing and they can perform. When they are sick, when they lose their vocals and they cannot act, nobody cares about them. So I started looking at this award as how can you target the consumers of your product, the fans, the people who love your music, your creativity, and turn that love and fan love and love of the people who consume your music and your art into money. And we came up with Mema, which is Myogenic Excellent Media Awards. And the way it works is this. You are targeting the consumers of your music. One, because musicians and creators generally, they don't do it for themselves. It's like the guy who does tea in the hotel or does mandas. They don't cook all that mandas for them to consume. The customers are the ones who come and say, what hii hotel iko na mandazi mzuri. How can we turn that love into income? How can we use the influence of a DJ, a radio or TV host into money using their fan base? The people are listening to us now and they say, oh, you're good. You are good. They are listening to you. You run this program. They love you. But you're only as good as when you're here. After that, they may not show the same love. So how do we give people their flowers when they can smell them and touch them? So I said, start a platform where people target their fans to vote for them. A vote is 100 shillings. 25 is yours. The top prize is 5 million and a car. Then 3 million. Then 2 million for the runners-up. But even if you don't win, on day one, the moment you start getting voted for, 25% is yours. In fact, today, if you check my socials, I posted a lady called Odinga, a non-ordinary musician from the Nyanza region, a gospel artist. We started this award a week ago, and today, yesterday, she hit 1,000 votes, which is 100,000 Kenya shillings, because a vote is 100 shillings. And we announced a package that if you reach 1,000 votes, you can be able to get 25,000. Now, my brother, at a time when people are fully zaring, and the reports were in the media just a few days ago, Kenyans fully zared over 1 trillion. People are looking for 200, 300, 500, 1,000, 2,000. Now you have a platform that in 1 week after launching can give you 25,000 for free. No interest. You don't have to pay. We just watch your behavior. You started the other day. You have reached 100. You are capacity to go to 2,000. That lady can access 25 today. If she appeals, she applies now. I'll show you, and we will process and pay her. At a time when somebody somewhere is looking for a K or 2K or even 5K, and they are shocking in debts with Shylocks, with these borrowing online platforms, we thought we can resolve this menace of artists being broke, getting into depression, by appealing to the people who consume their art, and I'll ask those guys to show love for them by celebrating them now, and celebrating them in a structured way that brings sustainable income. So we said a vote is 100 shillings, 25 is yours, and I've given an example. There are several who have reached that mark now, but I was using an ordinary person who has organic votes. They are not buying, they are just telling their fans, vote for me. So you go to an event you are performing, after they clap for you, tell them toeni simu yenu, nipigieni kura. And she has reached this. And this girl is assured of 25K. Not to pay back, it's her money, because she has brought in 100,000. The contract we have is that 25% is yours. But we're even saying in extreme circumstances where somebody could be in an injury or in an emergency or an accident, or you're in the hospital, we can even give you up to 50%. We have lost nothing. It's a platform for empowerment and financial inclusion. Now, if you reach 10,000 votes, it means you have brought in 1 million. Bro, we can give you 250K. We can cover you if you are going to an embassy to apply for a visa and they're asking you where do you work and you're a musician. You can't say you're performing in a club and I'm paid. That is not employment. They will look at it that way. That's why so many artists are not able to get visas. They go and they are denied because they don't, unless you are a big star where you have a good bank account, majority of them, they are always denied. Now we are saying, come back to Mema. Mema will look at you and say, oh, you have already brought in 10,000 votes, so you have shares in Mema. So we can write to the embassy and say, you work here. And by virtue of the votes you have gotten from your funds, you have not paid anything. You don't pay to join. Zero to join Mema. But you have used your funds and mobilized this amount of money. One, we can pay for you. We can cover you as a collateral. We can give you a letter. So you're not jobless. You don't work for us per se, but by the fact that you are a nominee in Mema, you can get a letter as if you work for us, and you can give bank statements, financial statements to cover you where you need to be covered. Tomorrow we'll be announcing a new product called Mema Afia.
Okay.
We have just been talking to one of the insurance companies in Kenya. We are saying, again, if you have reached 10,000 votes, because that's 1 million shillings you have brought to Mema, you are fully covered by Mema Afia. So whether through share or whatever, but you have a cover. You cannot be helpless. And you don't have to rely on anybody else because, again, if you are not working, you have to pay from your pocket. Now, Mema is behaving like your employer. So we are catering for all the creatives who are only gifted, but they don't have formal education or they don't have formal contracts. We have introduced another one called Mema Fees. Mema school fees is, because today when we announced this 25, somebody said, where have you guys been? Because if I had gotten this link last month or 2 months ago, I would now be accessing this money. My child is at home and I would have just mobilized through the votes and I pay school fees for my child. So are you seeing the benefits? We are giving artists a cushion and a safety net. They are creative, they are talented, but in Kenya, you had even Churchill saying, akienda nyumbani mamake umuuliza, unafanyanga nini? Because kuchekesha watu, mama haoni kama ni kazi. That concept is still there, that notion among many people. So what we are doing is to build some foundation for our artists so that you don't have to be working elsewhere. Your talent, and through the fun, love, we are turning your influence. Whether you're a TikToker, you're a DJ, you host a show like this one, you can talk to your fans and they vote for you, and that vote counts for some safety net. When the chips are down, we can come and cover you. So we're introducing all that, including Mema Shelter, which is like affordable housing and getting our people. Because I've walked this journey, I've been with the Ojuang. There's a guy called Mzee Ojuang who entertained us in Vitimbi. Now Mama Kaya is actually among the first nominees of Mema. Okay. I used to think Mama Kaya was the wife of Ojuang until Ojuang was sick, and then I realized they were not family. But they brought us the nuances of our family and the feuds that exist in our family. Now we are trying to create a scenario where artists are given dignity. You can't do that if there is no structure. So we developed an ICT system that is solid. We built it. We have taken 6 months to Kaijenga, tested it. It can absorb a lot of money because we are targeting about 3 billion. Out of this voting, just for voting alone, we are saying if we get 3,000 contestants, 3,000, each getting 10,000, and I've told you there are people already at 2,000, getting 10,000 votes, and a vote is 100, this gives you 3B. If you go with this business plan anywhere, it makes sense. It's for artists. You don't need to do anything else. You just need to get the link. It's not an award. It has no end. We'll do the gala in October, pay for those who will have won, the 5 million, the car and all that. But even that day, you can still continue getting voted for. Once you get the link, that's what I was saying. It's the same concept how betting works. You hear somebody saying, I've won 200 million. They don't stop. They keep doing it. There is no end. So why don't you introduce a platform that is clean, that is viable, and where musicians and artists and creatives feel there's a sense of ownership. And you cushion them against the vagaries of nature that come to all of us. So that's how Mema is structured. Now, we also want to give exposure. So in July, we have registered a company in the in the UK, called Jamhuri Cultural Vibes. We have already booked a venue in July. People have reached this amount, we'll pay for them. Fully paid trip to UK, and they're not just going there to randa. They will be performing and getting paid.
Okay.
Remember, we have covered them, so it's easy for them to get their visa. They have money in their pockets, and there's a fully paid trip. So we'll do the midterm payments in July. We are expecting somebody will have made 5 million by then. If you look at the traction today, our guys are working like a call center. Okay?
So the rest of the 75% goes to administration and
yeah, of
running
course,
the
all
platform.
those things, building that platform, managing it, and of course, all of it is not to be spent. We are doing 4 things. One, we are building a creative arts center. We are targeting this 3 billion because we are plowing it back immediately to set up a center so that recording becomes cheap. It's very expensive to record a song because you are charged Duko kwa producers a lot of money. They will have a place of their own. So number 1, there will be a creative arts center. We are calling it Mema Arts Center. It will be somewhere in Nairobi. We are planning, we are looking for land and so on. We are targeting this this is 6 months operation to raise this money and start this work. But in the next 5 years in our strategic plan, we'll have the Mema Center, which is one center. Okay, then there will be Mema Afia. Then we are going to have insurance cover, like I've told you.
Okay.
And lastly, we'll have final rights. When an artist or a creative gets into a situation and they pass on, God forbid, but they are human beings, that is not the time to fundraise. That is not the time now to show them love when they are gone. If you must show them love, you need to have built a structure where they were covered, so they died because they end to, because their day end come, but the endowment go cover, so that Mema fear. But when they go, they are buried in dignity. We don't have to be pleading to politicians. They come in and they are leaders, but you don't have to be helpless, because we are saying lawyers have LSK. The other engineers have their own body that they contribute to. Doctors the same. All those other professions. It's only the creatives that are never seen as serious employment opportunities. And therefore, we are creating structures to turn the creatives into very serious professionals who are covered both medically and against the vagaries of nature that occur to any other professional.
All right, Bwana Daktari, we've gone beyond time, but I think kuna vitu hata hatujaguza.
I apologize
Itabidi
that I
urudi
came
tena.
late. Yeah, nitakuja.
Yeah.
Kwanza vile nimewakosea leo because it was traffic.
No,
Today is bad.
we understand.
Today is bad.
No, we
I've had
understand.
meetings where also people came 2 hours late and
Okay.
I could not do anything.
Okay.
Because one, having so many presidents in Nairobi, it was a crisis. It's a nightmare even without rain. Now it rained in the afternoon.
Yes,
so forgive
yes,
me.
yes. No, we
I
understand.
apologize for coming late. It's not my nature.
No problem.
But even if you tell me to come tomorrow, I assure you that I'll come.
No, tutapanga
Tutapanga.
siku. Yeah. No, but thank you for making the time nonetheless.
Asante sana.
Despite the busy schedule, like
Yeah.
you made.
Lakini sasa unaona hii kitu hii ni hata wewe unatakiwa kuwa nominated.
You're in a sound very tantalizing.
My last meeting was actually with Msanii Records, and I was so proud of them. They are hitting 1 million views. That's the first singing group to reach that level. Subscribers, not views.
Okay.
Subscribers on YouTube.
Yes. No, that's
Msanii
big.
Records.
That's big.
So I've just been with them and we had a very good meeting. They have come in as a group. You'll be seeing them.
Yeah, okay.
We have choirs from across the country. This thing is for everybody. And haina siasa. Hii unakuja ukipata link ni wewe na bidii yako na mashabiki wako. And it is not for gospel. Club zile zinacheza muziki, we analyze 4 sectors. The church, because they play a lot of music. Then broadcasting stations, because there is no business of broadcasting without music. Then the entertainment joints, clubs and so on. And then the public service vehicles.
Okay.
Out of those, now we are going on a roadshow. We launched at the Villa Rosa Kempinski on 2nd of May, and I've told you already, imagine in 1 week. Out of votes is our Sani. There's 1 million in the bank.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I'm looking at it and saying, what man of love? People have understood that you don't have to really keep borrowing from other people. We can build something of our own. We are targeting to reach the mark that we have said. And my appeal to artists is to know this is a job. It's not an award. There are some people told me kwa mtandao yangu, hii ni biashara unafanya sio award. Nikasema ni kweli. And you know why? I'm not mistaken, because you know the highest paying platform for musicians today in Kenya is called Skiza Tunes. The guy who is leading, my brother, sio the big stars. It's not Calligraph Jones, it's not BN. It's somebody who is not known. It's somebody who has understood this. Hii small game small kadogo economy. This is where the money is. So, and since you don't have to know me, you just need to go to Mema, nominate yourself. And once you get the link, it is your job now. Because where you are performing, as you travel, your family members, ask them to vote for you. But there's another thing we are doing. The moment we bring those groups together and build big data, united, you'll see sponsors coming in, and these guys will get a lot of support for mentorship, financial literacy and a lot of things.
Okay.
So hii ndio nyumba ya wasanii. Hapa ndio na ina siasa, you don't have to pay anything to join, you don't have to know anybody.
So we just, if we want more information, we go to the page.
You go to Mema, www.memaawards.com.
Memaawards.com. Okay.
It gives you everything.
Okay.
And once you nominate, you can nominate yourself, you can nominate a friend. And once you get the link, you don't have to know anybody. The money that you are getting from your vote, you are seeing it on your phone.
All right.
If I vote for you now, you get a notification. You'll be seeing how you're performing every day, and you can apply because that money is not controvertible. You can see it. There is no dispute about what you have gotten. If I voted for you, I vote for you.
Okay.
So it is transparent. We have also brought in incredible leadership. They took another office. Did you see? These are very senior people in their respective ways. Like I told you, we are working with the church. And we looked at the churches and the pastors within the church. Those people understand music. So Kathy Kiuna of JCC is the patron of the board. And there are people like Julia Sumbe, because we're East Africa. We're in 6 countries: Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Rwanda, DRC, Congo, and South Sudan. So we're looking at also people. So Sumbe is from Uganda originally. He has a very big church here in Karen. Then there are people like Steve Nyambwa, who was in the original Tusker Project fame and is one of the top artists in the country. We have business people, we have lecturers, we have lawyers, and so on. Credible, and they took another of office. And then the board is led by Bishop Jonah Obonyo. Again, like I told you, church plays a lot of music. If you remove music from the church, it's not the same.
Right.
So we thought they would understand. One, because they're not able to pay their choirs. They cannot pay praise and worship teams. And those are the most misused people. I say so, quote and quote, because they don't have an income. The pastor could be on a small pay, but again, most of the pastors are not. So we are saying there are also content creators coming to Mema. But the choirs, worship teams, they are never paid anything. They come practice, entertain us on Sunday. Nobody cares about them. And when the chips are down and they have no other jobs to do, I can tell you a lot of them are into depression. So we targeted the church, and that's why you can see the leadership is church heavy. But we are decentralizing, because clubs are part of this, matatu industry, broadcasting sector, and so on. This is a credible platform. Okay. And I appeal to everybody to try. While the sun shines, make hay.
Make hay when the sun shines. You've heard it from Bona Daktari himself. Thank you so much once again, Bona Daktari. We've been hanging out with Dr. Ezekiel Mutua, and we've had a very enthralling conversation. If you missed it and you've just joined us right now, just go to our page and you'll find the whole conversation there. Bona Bashiru, kuna ya kufunga?
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much for coming through.
Yes.
Venye umesema you owe us, so tukikupigia tafadhali shika simu.
Yes.
Mimi niko na maswali mengi sana. Leo mimi nimekuwa mpenzi mtazamaji, lakini when you come again, I'll have my questions.
Most definitely. So we're going to close it up. Bona producer amempatia ile signal. We are 26 minutes past the hour. Meanwhile, everyone who's been watching on YouTube and all the other platforms, thank you so much for making the time also to spend your evening with us. But don't touch that dial. Music all night long. See you guys tomorrow. Don't do anything we wouldn't do. Have a very good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.